How's it going, everybody? My name is Brad, and I'm the guy on the internet ranking all your favorite music from my least favorite to my most favorite. I cannot believe that we finally made it to the 10th video in this all-time low series. I'm going to be ranking those 8 albums. But this isn't just my favorite. This has a method to this insanity. And very quickly, the method is as follows. Every album is going to get points based off the percentage of songs on that album that made the final ranking list. Then, every album is going to get a point value for where each song landed in that top 38. So, for example, my number 1 favorite will get 38 points, and my least favorite of the 38 will get 1 point. If an album has a song that I just kind of skip every time, it's not garbage, but I kind of don't need to hear it, it loses 5 points. And if an album has a song on it that absolutely sucks, totally blows, it loses 15 points. Don't put trash on your albums. Here we go. Speaking of which, number 8, I have Future Hearts. Like I said, all these albums are great, but somebody had to be 8th. 31% of Future Hearts made it onto my all-time list. That was 4 songs. So it got 9 points for Runaways, it got 11 points for Don't You Go, 14 points for Old Scar's Future Hearts, and for Kids in the Dark, which was the highest ranked song on there, it got 22 points. What just kills this album was that 2 songs on here are absolute garbage. They shouldn't have even fooled with it, shouldn't have bothered with these songs at all. Those are Bail Me Out and Tidal Waves, which lost 15 points each. This album lost 30 points for those 2 garbage songs, which gives it a 57. Also, like I mentioned when I ranked all the songs on here, Future Hearts has a lot of really good songs, but it lacks classics. And that's what holds it back. Number 7, I have Last Young Renegade. Of all the albums on this list, without question, Last Young Renegade made the most progress growing on me the more that I listened to it. 30% of the songs on this album made it onto the final ranking list. A great decision to only have 10 songs. That really saved Last Young Renegade from being dead last on here. So that's 3 songs. It got 20 points for Last Young Renegade, 25 points for Good Times, and 27 points for Dark Side of Your Room. It's a phenomenal achievement that 3 songs from this album, which I hated the first time I heard it, made it into the top 19. 1 skip for me, and that's Nice to Know You. Then it has 2 songs that absolutely suck. That's Nightmares and Life of the Party. They really killed this ranking. All the progress that this made by having 3 songs in the top 19 was all chewed up because of inconsistency on this album. Got a 67. For number 6 is the one that has the most upside to move up the rankings down the road, and that's Wake Up Sunshine. 20% of its songs, so 3 songs, made it onto my all-time list. Those were Getaway Green, which got 13 points, Melancholy Kaleidoscope, which gave it 16 points, and the phenomenal Some Kind of Disaster, which got it 32 points. Has 1 skip, that's Glitter and Crimson. I could do without that, but no songs suck on here. Got a 76. What holds this one back, and another one that you're going to hear about later, is just having too many dang songs. Less songs would have resulted in a much higher ranking on here. It would have got a lot more percentage points. The message is, don't put filler on your albums. It's supposed to be all killer, no filler, not a whole lot of filler and a little bit of killer. Come on, guys. I do think this album, like I said, has the most potential to move up the ranking list. Number 5, I have the EP from 2006, Put Up or Shut Up. 29% of its songs made it onto the all-time list. That's just 2 songs. So it got 15 points for JC Ray, and 38 points for my number 1 favorite song by All Time Low, Coffee Shop Soundtrack. Has nothing to skip, nothing to suck, and you really shouldn't be skipping anything anyway. It only has 7 songs. I honestly thought that this was going to rank a little bit higher. If I could get in Time Machine, the only thing that I would do if I had a time machine is just to go back and put Breakout on this final ranking list. But 5th place for this EP still a solid place to be. And that brings me to number 4, and that is Dirty Work. This barely edges out Put Up or Shut Up because it suffers horrifically by once again having too many songs. 16 songs on a pop punk album? I don't need that, no thank you. But nevertheless, 38% of the songs still made it onto the album, and that was 6 songs. It got 2 points and 1 point for Heroes and Forget About It, 6 points for Do You Want Me Dead, 21 points for the very high performing That Girl, 24 points for one of my all-time favorites, Time Bomb, and 34 points for Just the Way I'm Not. It still held its own on this list because of so many fun and interesting songs, but it still has 2 skips. In my opinion, Get Down on Your Knees and Merry Christmas, I could do without them, but this album could have made it in 3rd potentially. It has 2 songs that absolutely suck. I never want to hear them again as long as I live, and those are My Only One and No Idea. They are so bad, such trash on a really cool album. It got 86 points. And for number 3, we have Nothing Personal. This is proof that I'm not just putting these in the order that I want and just pushing record on this video. I actually prefer this album over my number 2, but the scoring criteria gods must be appeased. 46% of the songs on this album made it. That's 6 songs again. Got 3 points for Sick Little Games, 5 points for Lost in Stereo, 26 points for Break Your Little Heart, which, if you watch the song rankings, it was number 13. It was kind of the beginning of my absolute top tier of all-time low songs at number 13. 29 points for Damned If I Do, 30 points for Weightless, and 36 points for my number 3, which was Therapy. Nothing Personal has 0 songs to skip, but it does have 1 song that sucks, and that's Too Much. It's absolutely one of the worst songs in their entire catalog, obviously. Gosh. This had 160 points, which was only 1 single point away from making the number 2 spot on here. That's how close this was. And now for number 2, it's Don't Panic. I would call Don't Panic kind of a return to form, back to the way they were on their first album, just with like $1 trillion production. 54% of the album made it onto my all-time low favoritist song list of all time. 7 songs when I allowed Love Like War to be thrown in, so it got 4 points for that one. It got 7 points for Outlines, 8 points for So Long Soldier, 10 points for Thanks to You, 18 points for Reckless and the Brave, and then way up in the top, I think 11 or so, you had Backseat Serenade, which got 28 points, and for my second favorite all-time low song, Somewhere in Neverland, it got 37 points. It raked in a ton of points in the top 20. For me, this album has 1 skip, and that's The Irony of Choking on a Lifesaver. Easily the coolest song title on Don't Panic, maybe ever by them, but I skip it. So it lost 5 points there. Gave it 161 points. Very high performer, but not as good as my number 1. We have waited a couple of months and 9 videos, now 10 videos to get to this moment. You already know what it is. For number 1, It's So Wrong It's Right. 58% of So Wrong It's Right made it into my all-time low list, which is 7 songs. So it got 12 points for Stay Awake, 17 points for Poppin' Champagne, 19 points for Shameless, 23 points for Hollywood, You Turn Me On, and 3 songs from So Wrong It's Right made it in the top 10 on this list. So it got 31 points for Remembering Sunday, 33 points for This Is How We Do, and 35 points for Dear Maria, Count Me In. Nothing to skip on here, and absolutely nothing even comes close to sucking. It had 228 points, beating down its competition. Oh, so great, and I'm so happy to have that as my number 1. There you go. That brings us to the end of my 10-part all-time low video series until they release a new album. This took a lot longer than I expected it to because I've been doing some other stuff in between the videos. It has been so fun. It's going to be so weird listening to something different, and I will soon announce my plans for my next ranking series. Thank you so very much. And remember, whatever you do, don't be normal. We don't need any more normal in this world.